gone and got a fork for sushi, but I don't know if it's a fork event. It's not really, is it?
No, but...
Didn't need to, although I might need it for that.
Well, chopsticks would be more traditional.
I didn't see any chopsticks. That's
I
a
didn't
really
see any
good.
chopsticks.
You can use a pair of coffee stirrers.
Or a couple of biros.
You can use a couple
I
of
wouldn't
biros.
recommend it, but you could do that.
Yeah, there's a horrible story of a friend of mine when we were much younger, with his dog, with a pair of biros. It was an awful story.
What?
It was an awful story.
I don't think I'm going to press you. So
No, well, what's weird is he became a drug addict.
Because of the dog and the biro?
No, he just went off the rails properly. Shame, because when I knew him, he was a nice kid. Even though he stole my watch later on at school and threw it in a river. It's true. But I knew he'd done it, so I called the police, and he paid me £1 a week for about a year.
Why did he throw it in a river?
Because somebody knew that he'd done it, and because I immediately alerted people that my treasured. It was a
Timex?
No, let me get. I think it was Seco. I think it was Seco back then. I might have saved it, or I was still at the stage where. Do you remember the really high-end Casios, which had multiple displays and animations? I had one of those. It was like 50 quid.
Fancy.
It was a lot for a Casio. I think it might.
Have I told you about the Knight Rider watch that I had when I was a kid?
Get out. No.
Digital watch.
Yeah.
Looked like Michael Knight's watch.
Of course it did.
And the alarm went ding, 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 ding,
Did
ding,
it?
ding, ding, ding. I was king of the school when I got that.
Bloody hell.
Well,
Did it have
king
an
of my
hourly
class.
chime? Do you remember an hourly chime
Yeah,
was a
it
thing?
pipped on the hour if you wanted it to.
Yeah, I love an
And then
hourly.
if you set the alarm or if you press the two side buttons simultaneously, ding, 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 in a very tinny little digital watch way. Fantastic. One night, after I'd supposed to have gone to bed, I waited till my parents back downstairs and I put my light back on. I thought I used to do this bit. They'll see the light, unless I had one of those, like a desk lamp with a
Angle poise.
No, not an angle poise, but just one of those desk lamps with a bendy neck.
I know.
Bent it right down so the bulb was right low over my bedside table.
Yeah.
So minimum light spill.
Hot bulb though.
It's just enough that I can read a car magazine for a bit longer because I didn't want to go to sleep.
Quite.
Unfortunately, yes, hot bulb. You can see where this is going. Hot bulb near Knight Rider watch.
Oh no.
Fell asleep, face on car magazine.
No.
Woke up,
Had it melted?
melted the top of the Knight Rider watch.
Oh my gosh.
It still works, but a whole frontage, the perspex bit over the actual screen, and all of the plastic moulding to look like the actual Knight Rider watch, ruined.
What do you do?
Well, that's it. And it was a birthday present, I think, bought from an advert in Lookin' magazine. Replacement unavailable, even if my parents had been willing to fork out for another one, which they weren't because
It's your own fault.
I'd been doing something I shouldn't have been doing, which is not going to bed, and I had ruined my watch. And that was it. And
Bloody hell, that's a bad story.
yeah, it was sad. But then, fast forward
You didn't meet David
to a
Hasselhoff.
sad old twat. No, I did go to a Knight Rider convention once in America by accident. Well, I didn't mean to. I was my brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law,
What?
said, "I'm thinking of going to a Knight Rider convention this afternoon." And I'd borrowed an Aston Martin Rapide. This was in Los Angeles, and I'd borrowed an Aston Martin Rapide, and he just basically wanted to go and show off to all his nerd mates at this convention. So we went over in the Aston. They were so nerd wowed by it that I was allowed to go into the inner sanctum. It was in a hotel. It was like a sort of weird conference centre at a hotel in Burbank. I was allowed into the kit-only parking area, park the Aston at the end of a row of kit replicas. It
What?
was a weird afternoon. They were selling replica Michael Knight watches, and they were only sort of like $15 or $20 or something. And I thought, I've got that in my pocket. I could buy one of those, but it didn't do the ding 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 ding. And for me, that was a little.
You
bit...
didn't buy it?
No, I didn't.
Even for $15?
I know. I kind of regret that I didn't, but it would have been a hollow buy without the music. So then, one day I looked up on eBay. I wonder if there's any of those old watches from the 80s going. No. But I saved it in my searches, and about only a few weeks ago, Bing search came up. What new item matches your search? Knight Rider watch. And there it was. And it was about £100 it was already up to. And I thought, well, now what price childhood memories, or really completing some unfinished business from my childhood, do I really need a Knight Rider watch?
Those are the times when you need me to be round for a beer.
What, to give me dubious life advice?
Yeah, to just go, press buy it now. Now.
No, there was no buy it now, it was bidding.
And it was north of 100 sheets.
Well, if memory serves, it eventually went for over £500.
Are you joking? So it's really rare.
Apparently so.
Shit.
So I won't be getting one of those.
So you and your stupid bedside light. You would have still had that, wouldn't you?
I'll be sitting on £500 worth of watch.
And never selling it. Unless someone was going to swap it for a genuine Michael Knight jacket. In which case you're in. You are in there.
Yeah, a jacket wouldn't pay the theme tune, so I'm still kind of...
At this Knight Rider convention,
Yeah.
please tell me that Hasselhoff was actually there.
No. It was a bit of a second division Knight Rider convention, I think.
Second division, what else is there? Devon's going to be dead.
A row of replica kit.
Was there a truck?
No.
Oh my God, Rich.
I can't remember what went on inside in the actual conventions bit. I can't remember. There were...
Was the woman there?
No, I don't remember there being any celebrities there.
Well, how can you have a convention? There's nothing there.
Well, because they're meeting to talk about their shared love of the show, I guess.
Oh, there would have been like a second or third stuntman.
Oh, yeah, I'm
There
sure.
would have been like, yeah, I reversed the
I'm
car
sure.
out the lorry once.
Once. But I made a mess of it. They didn't let
Yeah,
me
I was
do it
going to
again.
say, but I nearly died. I just didn't do it again. Didn't feel I wanted
We're going
to.
to have a quick look, see if there's any Knight Rider watches on here now.
Can you? I've got a Dukes of Hazzard watch. New old stock.
New old stock?
Yeah, 1980. It's still in the box and stuff. I took it out the wrapper and put a battery in it, and it didn't work.
See, look, these are the other Knight Rider watches that the people in America seem to want. These are the ones that sold in the US, and I don't think they played the tune, but they were a radio watch. Remember when that was a thing? You could plug headphones in and listen
Hang on,
to
it's
radio.
400
That's
quid.
£400 for a Knight Rider watch.
For just a cheapy little...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like the equivalent without Knight Rider branding and stuff on it would be like a
Well, I
tenner or
suppose
something.
that's like the equivalent of buying the really rare Star Wars figure with just a leatherette cloak.
Yeah.
And just the leatherette cloak, because it's a slightly different shade of maroon. It makes it worth 1,000 sheets. And I'm like, oh... If it was, I don't know, if it was Thunderbirds, I might be in there.
Where are we? No matches.
Do you
That's
want
the
me,
thing.
do you want me to bring my, next time I see you, do you want me to bring my Dukes of Hazzard watch? It's supposed to do the Dixie horn,
Oh, really?
but a problem is I put a new battery in and it didn't work. It never had a battery in it.
Oh.
And I think the board inside is damaged. I took it to a high-end jewellery shop, that guy I know, and he just looked at me and he went, do you want me to have a look at it? And I went, well, yeah, but let me know if it's all going to get silly. And he had it for about 3 days. He just phoned me up and I said, oh, is it good news? He went, no, I can't make it work at all. So I've just kept it at home in a box. So it's all boxed. I've got the original cardboard box with it.
Well,
It's nice. It's really nice. Orange.
Was it expensive?
I bought it it was eBay America. I did have it shipped over. I think it was about 50 quid. That's an old money car.
I was about to draw your attention to that.
124. Oh my gosh, it's full of stuff.
Full of stuff.
Like full.
That was a bit weird. Like, just moving some stuff, or does she live in that car?
I've got a little story for you, and I saw it the other day when I was driving down the A1. I was behind a Vectra VXR. Do you remember them?
Yeah. Quite a rare
The car that I think infamously suddenly became 1,000 quid a year to tax. Very, very high power front wheel drive.
Yes. Quite understeery, I seem to remember.
Well, I had one on what became a really random, like, lads road trip weekend. I had one just as a press car for that week. A couple of my mates, we were like, let's go in the middle of nowhere in Wales. I had the car full of people, so 3 in the back, 2 in the front, weekend's worth of stuff in the boot. We'd booked a B&B that was lad friendly.
Does it say lad friendly B&B? I think a lot of them aren't, are they? Because they're often run by slightly passive aggressive ladies of a certain age. They don't want your shit on their doorstep.
Well, we drove there the scenic route from Stamford, Lincolnshire, across to Aberystwyth.
Oh yeah.
Through the valleys, the epic route. And then we started climbing some quite serious mountainous roads.
Yeah, I know around there a little bit.
We did it in the daytime when it was light. Anyway, we'd heard there was a weather warning. We got to start to get into the mountainous part of Wales, where it's Powys. We climbed up to the top of where the jurisdiction changes between one part of Wales and another. And we know this because as we came over the top and everyone was like, whoa, let's stop, it started really heavily blizzarding.
Oh.
And the council gritter was coming up, and it was too wide really for this part of the road. It's a very windy mountain road. Beautiful. We had to wait for the council gritter to get up to the top. And he stopped where we were, like in the lay-by. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that XC90 is a V8. That's a rare car.
Is it really?
Yeah, I saw the badge on the grille.
I would buy one just for the engine.
Yeah,
and I'd put the engine in a Amazon or something.
Narrow angle, isn't it?
Yeah. One of them in a 740, like a Paul Newman sleeper spec.
Do you know what? They put that engine in the S80, didn't they?
Yes.
Keep telling your story. I'm going to look that up. See if there's any for sale.
So we pull over and we're like, it's starting to properly snow. We're in a Vectra VXR.
Yeah, so
The gritter's
incredibly powerful front-wheel drive, heavy load on board, may be good for traction, but everything else is not in its favour. I'm going to surmise.
The gritter came up. Guy got out of the lorry for a chat in the lay-by. And he was like, you going that way? We're like, yeah, we're going to Aberystwyth. He went, good luck. And he's the gritter driver. So we're like, great. Whoa.
Like that old VW Beetle advert. Why does the man who drives the snowplow drive to get the snowplow? Why does the man who drives the gritter drive to get to the gritter? Not
they
a
were.
Vauxhall VX, Vectra VXR. That would be a fucking stupid thing to do.
Well, so I say, right, boys, we're going to do this. We'll be fine. We'll tiptoe the powerhouse down. And first of all, my mate, who was a little hungover from he'd gone out the previous night, he said, I really need a poo before we crack on. I'm like, we're on the top of a mountain. So he rifles around the car asking if anyone's got any tissues or serviettes.
Oh my god!
Goes to Nadden.
Has a shit in a blizzard.
Poo in a field in a blizzard.
I mean, fair play. His need must have been immense for him to.
To have a field poo. Yeah, I mean, so he's got had a field poo. He had enough serviettes. We get back in the car. Heaters on. We were listening to some music and I forget what it was. We drive there and we don't crash, but we slip all over the place. We park up outside our B&B, and as we're walking into town to start what became quite a big night in a small town, which are my favourite kinds of nights actually, 2 things happened. One, as we were walking in, I found a Mark II Cavalier SRI 130 parked at the side of the road, and I hastily wrote on a friend's bit of envelope or something my name and my neighbour and name and number. And about a month later, the guy did phone me.
But you did what happened?
He actually said it is for sale, but I couldn't afford it at the time. It's a shame because I do wish I bought it because it's a very rare car. While we were out, one of the guys that I brought with me was my cousin, Adam. We were out in this pub, and it was a real cross mix of people. Some students, some older, like middle-aged, like ale-drinking blokes.
Yeah, sounds like
one of the students was wearing the most repulsive shell suit. It was sort of turquoise, yellow, full, proper, horrible shell suit, with a little irony, I'm sure.
Well,
my
yeah.
mate Adam started chatting to him and going, "This is amazing." Absolutely, he was a bit drunk, so he just kept saying it was amazing. He said, "I'll buy it." Kids like, well, it's not for sale. I'm on a night out.
And also,
He's
it's my
like-
clothes. I'm in them.
And Adam was like, "No, you'll sell it. What will you sell it for?" And they was like, "Oh, well, I'm on a night out. That's what I'm wearing." Anyway, 30 quid later. Because obviously he's a student, so 30 quid is the same as 300.
Yeah. I imagine he could have just told him where he got it from, which would have been like.
Well, my mate,
To cover
my
the market.
cousin Adam was like, "I'm having it." So he went. He just took his wallet out, unfolded 30 quid, and I'm like, "Well, what? How is this going to work? You're on a night out." The kid's got. So the kid was like, "Well, I tell you what, 30 quid, and you give me your t-shirt."
What about trousers?
You just had pants. You didn't care. You just had long box shorts on. So Adam gave him his t-shirt, took the shell suit. Adam was then just wearing a V-neck sweater, so he looked a little bit like what's the guy from Basic Instinct?
Michael Douglas.
He looked a bit like Michael Douglas from
The
Basic
deep
Instinct.
V with nothing underneath.
Deep V with nothing
It's
underneath.
an iconic but uncomfortable look.
It's a deep V with no. It's a little bit Simon Cowell, of which
yeah.
I think we're in the vicinity of Cowell.
Possibly,
Anyway.
yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the night, a lot of other things happened, some of which can't be said, really. But needless to say, he came back with a shell suit.
Yes.
No one died.
Yes.
Storm came in on the seafront. Woke up the next morning, very snowy and icy. That afternoon, we made our way back. Everyone was deeply hungover. I was concentrating very hard in the VXR. And my friend Adam, the one that bought the shell suit, had picked up an erotic novel from a charity shop because he'd been walking around that morning, just gone in a couple of charity shops. So he was in the back of this VXR just reading these. It's hilarious.
Sounds like a fever dream.
He was reading these extracts of erotic novels. One of my other friends who was in the car with me had the horn, so he kept telling him to stop because he was just having the horn. And then we all decided, look, we need to just find a nice Sunday lunch spot, 'cause it was Sunday.
Yeah.
We need to stop and have a lovely Sunday lunch. Everyone will reset and we'll carry on the journey in the VXR. So we're just looking on the map and we say, oh, there's a place. And this is the weird bit, and I still don't know where this pub is. We saw a pub coming up. We're like, oh, that looks really good. It said Sunday roast, really cool. And then it says Sunday roast, Sky Sports, Shark Tank. And we go,
Right.
well, we need a roast anyway, and it's open. And it looked nice.
Yeah.
We went in, and there's a Shark Tank next to the
What?
carvery. It's got two real sharks in it.
How big?
Well, the biggest one was not as wide as this car, not as long as this car is wide,
That's still quite big.
but like a sand shark. I mean, they're sharks. They're proper sharks. In a pub, and I mean in the middle of nowhere in Wales. We are talking in the middle of nowhere.
This still sounds like a dream. You're describing to me a dream.
All of this happened. I am telling you, all of this happened.
All because of the Vectra VXR. Well, anyway, there's two Volvo S80 V8s for sale. On Auto Trader, that's it. Just two. And
How
one
much?
of them's, they're expensive.
What?
I thought they'd be 500 quid by now, because there must be a nightmare to tax.
How much are they?
9 grand and 12 grand.
What?
Yeah, for fuck's sake. You wouldn't pay 12 grand for a 12-year-old Volvo S80 with a very complicated, presumably quite thirsty engine that's got 73,000 miles on it. You just wouldn't, would you? That's like, who's doing that? No one.
No one. No.
4-wheel drive, though, so more reassuring if you decide to drive to Wales in a blizzard while having a roadside shit and other shenanigans. I bought too much pineapple.
You've bought a lot of pineapple.
Well, I can't eat all that in one go.
I went for a much smaller arrangement.
I just panicked.
Too much plastic packaging now. It's annoying, really.
How many of your stories involve people removing their trousers? Because last night you told me
Well-
about that that bloke who drank an entire bottle of spiced rum and shat himself. No, sorry. I'm doing you a disservice. Is this correct? Because we had a couple of beers, but that he split his white linen trousers,
He was trying to do the splits and other dance moves.
having drunk a bottle of
Having
spiced
drunk
rum.
he bought a bottle of Captain Morgan spiced in a club, so a whole bottle in a club.
What I didn't ask you. Which town was this in? Not that it really matters, but I'm trying to get
You'd never guess. In a month of Sundays.
Utoxeter. I don't know why that would be a place to do that. There's no place.
I wasn't there, so I believe it was Lyme Regis.
Okay.
I mean, it's quite a small place, Lyme Regis, right? You've been
I
there?
don't think I've ever been.
I've been numerous times, including Cub Camp.
So he bought in a nightclub,
A small town nightclub.
small town nightclub, the most violent of all the nightclubs. He bought a bottle of Captain Morgan spiced rum, boshed the lot.
Then he was wearing white linen trousers. He was starting to do some moves on the dance floor. Realised he was getting a bit wobbly. Did the jump splits on the dance floor and split the linen trousers. Split the linen trousers from front to back. His genitals were apparently hanging out because it was loose linen, and he was just walking around the club just windmilling himself.
But now wearing. So his trousers have become effectively two separate garments. Just leg sleeves. Pair of white linen leg sleeves. And is this... So he's polished off the rum by now. Is this right? What are you in?
However, the problem is,
he's
you know,
having
like-
a bit of a catastrophic effect on his guts.
The problem is if you've ever drunk quite a lot of spirits in a very short space of time, it's like a 20-minute delay before it hits you like an anvil.
Yes.
And he had that moment and realised he had to go to the toilet. And as you know, nightclub toilets are brutal places
wow.
for a sit down.
Oh,
And he went in there and he needed a sit down. He had explosive diarrhea and then realised there was no loo paper at all. Hadn't even checked before he started. Massive.
Schoolboy error.
Well, I mean, you avoid it in a club at all costs, but anyway. So he just decided, well, my trousers are in tatters anyway. So he took his white linen trousers off and used it as toilet paper. He used it as toilet paper, and then he couldn't flush his trousers down the toilet, so it brought him a toilet. So he just stuffed it around the back of the cistern, and then ran out of the club, and then phoned his girlfriend, his then girlfriend, and go, "I'm not coming back in the club. I'm outside and I've got no trousers on." He just ran out. He just ran out with his pants on.
I'm not going back in because I've got no trousers. But you did have trousers on. When I last saw you, admittedly, they
Well,
split dramatically, but you did have trousers on. Where are your trousers?
they weren't
gone?
covering
Well,
your cock and balls, but
Let me talk to you about the fate of my trousers. White linen trousers as well. Fucking hell. Oh, man.
now, of late, I've noticed Captain Morgan have been doing some quite different TV ads and online ads.
Do any of them say, "Arr, get this down you next, me hearties. You shall split the pantaloons, and then shat thyself, and use them to clean up." Arr.